Hello and welcome to Gridlock's home opener playing Raleigh Radiance. I'm Jed Patterson. You might know me from my work with Austin Torch, Austin, Texas's PUL team. I just got here in New York and I'm here with
Sophia Zoe Kilmer. I've been playing Frisbee for 23 years and I'm just a huge fan of the PUL and great ultimate.
All right. Taking a look at the standings so far, with just a couple of games under their belts, Gridlock has played Surge in Philly and won that game. Radiance has played Astra in LA and Atlanta Soul at home and came out on top on both of those games. Gridlock is number one in the North Division, and Radiance is number one in the South Division, so it should be a great game today.
Absolutely, and that Gridlock Surge game was a phenomenal game where Gridlock won right at the end of the game in regulation. I believe it was 12-13. And that was on the road against Philadelphia Surge, and that is a monumental game to start the season.
Great game. It went very close up until the very end. Surge taking the lead at the very last few minutes.
They certainly did. It was back and forth. At one point, I believe I had referenced or seen that Gridlock was up by 2.
All right, looking at this matchup today, the last time Radiance and Gridlock played each other was the championship game in 2023. Radiance came out on top, winning that game 18-16, and they did not play each other last season. So far in the games we've played, we've seen both teams running a little bit of a sag or a junkie zone defense. So we'll see if that comes out today. Not as windy in New York today as it has been in their other games. Another thing we're looking at, Gridlock has their two players from Colombia, Cardenas and Cartagena, out. Cardenas is in Portugal playing, and I believe Cartagena is coaching this weekend. So we'll be looking to see what handler sets come out and play a presence, as those two players were really impactful in the first game. For Gridlock, we've got a player to watch, number 19, Estelle Ding. She had an excellent game against Surge, scored 3 or 4 points, and had some amazing layout catches, layout attempts, again, in that game. So let's watch her. She's from Canada, here to play with us. For Radiance, we're going to be watching for Audrey Lyman. She had the most touches of anyone in the league in their game against Seoul last week. Very impactful player, so we'll keep an eye on her today in this matchup. Little bit of a rainy day today in New York. Not too windy. It was pouring a little bit half an hour ago and to an hour ago, but clearing up now. Should be relatively nice weather for the game.
Certainly. What I expect the rain to affect is the elements of the conditions of the turf. And I expect to see a few people sliding more than the conditions may look like, based on the pouring down of rain.
Definitely. We've got the captains meeting up in the middle of the field to flip. Jenny De Jesus for Gridlock. And we've got Caitlin Gross and Maddie Pletsky captaining Radiance this year. Should be a good matchup. Radiance looking really dominating against the two teams that they have played so far. They had a very windy game in LA against Astra, but came out on top and won their game against Atlanta Soul pretty handily. So I think these two teams will be pretty well matched, but I do think Gridlock may be a little more competitive than the two teams that Radiance has played so far.
Oh, absolutely. These two teams are top of the table, north and south respectively, and I expect this game to go a long way in, both determining dominance within the PUL, but also just seeing of these two top teams who comes out on top today.
Gridlock been making a finals appearance in the past few years. They're often in that final game. So last year, Radiance went a 3-3 season. Some teams have growth years, strength years. So we'll see for Radiance. They're looking solid this year if they're a team that can make it to championship weekend again and face up against Gridlock there. I think this game will be a good indicator of how competitive Radiance will be able to be in the league this year.
Absolutely, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing these two, powerhouses of the PUL meet here today in New York. In particular, I'm very interested to see, as you were saying, with both Cartagena and Cardenas out today, it'll be very interested to see who steps up as that main handler with those two absent.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll see more combinations with Eli Pressberg, Julie Krebs, and Abby Hecko. Definitely Gridlock has a deep roster, but we'll see who ends up working well together. I do think that they have the strength in their roster.
Oh, absolutely. They have more than enough depth to withstand the absences of two of their top handlers on this team.
All right, we've got our starting lines heading out. Estelle Ding, number 19, our player to watch for Gridlock, starting on this O-line for Gridlock. Eli Pressburg, who we just mentioned, is out there.
And Jolie Krebs.
Jolie Krebs as well, so that will likely be some of our handles set. Also have Ella Jungst out there. A good start.
And the rain is still coming down pretty strong, just not as strong as it was beforehand.
On Radiance side, we've got Julia Zerzinski out there. Big impactful player for Radiance in the first two games that they've had. Also seen Ellen Yu. Those two play pretty well together, as well as number 27, Mary Rippey, a really strong defensive player. Great line to see out there. Gridlock has had some changes with our two strong handlers out, as well as Montana Roberts being injured in the first game and likely will be out for this season.
Yeah, and she had a phenomenal start to the game against Surge, so it is absolutely tragic what happened.
All right. Gridlock starting in a vert stack with Eli Pressburg and Jolie Krebs back.
Nice sliding catch.
It's Jenny DeJesus, the captain of Gridlock this year. Been playing with Gridlock for 7 years, I believe. Great catch from 31 Pressburg.
Absolutely. I was going to say the same.
Pressburg and Krebs really working together here, making their own space.
Good reset to Pressburg.
Oh, and that's a D for Radiance. A little bit physical. It's number 25, Meg Manning, for Radiance.
And that is going... Oh my.
A quick turn. Manning got that D and took off running. A great look. Maybe just the disc a little bit wet in this rain. So we'll see that connection come as these players get used to the rain.
Absolutely. And on that turn by Pressburg, it seemed like the throw was just a second late or a little bit off target.
Gridlock been running a lot of vert stack in their first game. Wondering if Radiance will maybe throw a little more zone. They played a lot of zone against Seoul, but it's not as windy today. So may just stick with person defense, meaning the defensive players match 1v1 versus a zone where you're taking care of an area of space. Jenny DeJesus directing where she wants Krebs to go for the reset. A little bit of stagnancy on the field.
Oh, wow, what a layout by Colton. Didn't get it, but that's going to definitely...
I think that'll be a good matchup. Jungst and Colton, probably see a lot of them this game. Another matchup I'm curious if we'll see some of is Liv, player for Gridlock, with Claire Bittigary-Curtis, both tall, long-arm players for the teams. We'll see that matchup today.
And Jenny DeJesus just had a fantastic cut that opened up 26 there.
Yeah. Ella Jungst with the disc. Finds the round to Pressburg to reset. One thing I noticed in the first game against Surge, Gridlock seems very patient with the disc. They seem very comfortable if they're not getting their first or second look. Trusting their teammates to find a possibility for the reset.
It was a strong cut by Jenny DeJesus.
Floating disc. Oh.
The wind got that one, it seemed.
Ding and Malin, both there, but couldn't quite come down with it. DeJesus on the mark. quick around from you.
Gridlock seems a little bit out of position. Now they're back on their person.
Rippy with the disc, trying to get it off the sideline. Finds you. A big look.
Oh my goodness.
Just over the hands of Dawn Colton. It's a good look. I don't mind that shot at all.
Yeah. I thought she got her hands on it. It'd be interesting to see, but it was the conditions are already playing a factor, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. Just takes a little more focus to see the disc all the way in and really grab onto it when it's slipping in wet like this.
And this has already been a very back and forth game with each team having a turnover already. 2 turnovers.
Yeah. In Radiance's game against Seoul, their offense was very decisive, very few turnovers in their offensive strategy. So I think both teams are pretty reliable offensive players with the conditions being favorable. Radiance has seen now both rain and heavy winds and made the adjustments. So we'll see how they do today. Pressburg with the disc.
And Jenny DeJesus who's just made a fantastic cut to get open there.
Pressburg and DeJesus working really well together.
Fantastic inside out.
Big layout from Jolie Krebs to save the disc. Looking for Youngst. There's a pick called. A pick is not allowed in this league, so you have to go back to where the person that you are playing defense with or the person comes to you. You get a chance to catch up. Eli knocking on the door, finds DeJesus for the first Gridlock score.
And a fantastic kick spike by Jenny DeJesus. That was a really back and forth point and, incredibly important in this early stages of the game for Gridlock to be able to score.
The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Breakmark Ultimate Apparel. Go to breakmark.com to place your next custom team order or check out the PUL Athlete Collab shops. Got Radiance coming out on offense. Our player to watch, number 59, in the white visor. I'm always a big fan of a distinct haircut or head accessory. Helps a lot, keeping track of who's who.
I concur. Any sort of flair that a player can have. Nice cut.
Radiance also taking a vert stack approach, looking a little bit looser. Gridlock players really shutting down.
Nice high.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Nice high release backhand there.
Radiance players looking very comfortable in the handler space. That's Alex Barnett working together with Audrey Lyman.
That was great defensive pressure there by 88 or 98.
We've got 45 Gross, the captain of Radiance, knocking on the end zone here. They're getting close. You want to stay patient if you're Radiance. Another pick called. Not sure if it affected that catch. Radiance looking very comfortable with their break throws. All right. And that's Radiance's first score of the game.
It's a fantastic high pointing of the disc there, Jet.
It's Alex Barnett for the score for Radiance.
Not a surprise. Isn't she a captain?
No, but she is a seasoned vet with Radiance.
I was watching their game against Seoul, and I just heard her name over and over again. So.
Yeah, great high point, like you said. Great jump, good read on the disc. Traffic from defense, but stays focused on the disc and able to get there first.
And honestly, the defensive players had great position there and good body control, and they exercised really good caution in playing the game safely, which I always like to mention and point out.
Seen a similar line go out on offense for Gridlock. Krebs out there again, Pressburg to Jesus. Pull going up.
It's a good pull. There's very little wind today. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, not a very windy day. It was 11, Don Colton with the pull. Big deep shot, a lot of pressure.
And Younks pulls it down.
Looking for Krebs, but Younks is able to pull it down. Not quite in.
Absolutely incredible read by Youngst.
Another pick called. Definitely harder in the end zone as the space gets smaller to avoid picks. So we can see those happening frequently in the small space. DeJesus with the disc.
Break, around, score.
And another score. It's Ella Young's number 10.
Sorry.
Ella Youngst, new to the Gridlock roster this year, as well as number 7, Abby Hecko. Lots of new players and new faces joining an already very strong program. Should be a good year for Gridlock. They've been a dominant team in the league for years. We'll see if they'll be able to run it back as league champions.
Yeah. League champions, and they've now added a bunch of star power, including Abby Hecko. But that was an excellent high read, high point by Ellie Youngst.
All right, we got Radiance coming back out on offense. Looks like both teams so far playing some similar offensive lines, keeping a similar 7 out there.
Who's going to be pulling it? Is it Eli?
Taking a look, yeah. Eli Pressburg with the disc.
It's Cassie Brown.
Yes, okay. Similar hats.
That's my point. It's a great pull.
Radiance picking up and moving quickly. Finds number 6, Way. Deep shot, looking for 88. Oh, and comes down with it. That is Maddie Pletsky, another captain for Radiance. 2-2.
Another job of excellent high pointing the disc while there's a defender right there.
Absolutely. Looking like in these conditions, both teams not struggling too much, finding their throws, finding break throws, finding deep shots. Radiance more of a long shot team, I think, than Gridlock. Gridlock pretty confident in their ability to march it up the field, but I'm sure there will be some more opportunities for big shots. I do think Gridlock plays conservatively and rarely turns over the disc.
Absolutely. I would agree. I think Gridlock has really mastered the small ball aspect of ultimate frisbee, and they just maintain possession. It's really impressive to watch. And actually, as this quarter continues, something that I've been incredibly impressed with the Gridlock is their ability to understand the clock at the end of the quarter. They very rarely will score with under 30 seconds. They just won't do it.
Big pull from Julia Zwerzinski. Going to be number 26 picking up for Gridlock. That's Mari Malin coming to the middle of the field. And she's back with Grace Connerly. Mixing up the handle set. Kind of filling the space where...
Oh,
big D from Dawn Colton. She really sees that space and fills into it.
And it just didn't seem like the handler had seen that.
Great throw. And that...
Absolutely fantastic break.
That is a break for Radiance. 2-3 Radiance. That's number 25, Meg Manning, for the score.
And yeah, it just looked like the handler did not see Dawn Colton kind of in the lane there. I don't know if she was poaching.
Definitely a player that has the experience, played with UNC Pleiades for years, knows at this high level where to be on the field and knows what they're looking for. So see that D again. Just right place, right time.
I agree. And certainly the thrower not seeing her. And then a fantastic, deep throw.
Similar.
Really fast turn of...
Yeah, Radiance doing very well picking up the pace, and I would have said compared to Astra and Seoul games, what they would need to do is pick up their pace of play to keep up with Gridlock, and they're doing just that. Similar line coming out. It's Julia Zierzinski again to PUL.
That was a very big break by the Radiance early in this game.
Pressburg and Brown working together here in the handle space. A lot of pressure from Radiance. They're able to keep it down and inbounds here. Pressburg with the disc, stall count getting high. Finds Grace Connolly, number 35. Great inside flick, seeing Jolie Krebs, great field vision from Connolly.
An underrated catch by Jolie Krebs, catching it right and stabbing it out of the air.
Jolie truly makes it look easy. What some of the hardest things to do in this sport, effortlessly. Not effortlessly, but looks that way from up here.
I like to joke that the great players make the phenomenal look effortless.
Radiance putting a lot of pressure on defense. Gridlock not making much forward progress down the field in this first stack. Grace Connolly again. A lot of touches at this point. Finds Pressburg.
In power position, right?
Looking for Youngst. Tricky read, but she comes down with it. Youngst really making her presence known. First year on Gridlock. 3-3 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Fantastic deep throw by Pressburg. Gets the disc in power position. And that's actually a break backhand.
Yeah, great throw. Pressburg definitely has some of the height to get the reach around.
And the power in their throws. They can throw it pretty far.
Got Liv Player, number 3, picking up the disc for Gridlock. Player comes to Gridlock from Portland Rising. Very familiar with the PUL professional scene. Got Grace Connolly back out there for another point as well.
I've noticed Cassie Brown, who seems to be a mainstay on the defensive points.
Mm-hmm.
They do seem to definitely be rotating their offense and defense significantly.
Seems like getting a good mix of the players they have on the roster, which I love to see. Radiance with the disc. Number 2 looking for an option. And finds it with Pletsky. Great inside flick. And that's a hand block from number 3, Liv Player. This is a matchup that I was hoping we would see. Liv Player and Bidigary Curtis. Great cut, but the throw lands out of bounds. Radiance picking up the disc on the far sideline. They're forcing them into that sideline. A hard throw. 45 comes up with it. Sliding catch. That's Caitlin Gross.
Certainly a risky throw, but it was high on the stall count.
Alex Barnett, the disc, gets it to 45. Caitlin Gross, big deep shot, looking for number 59. A lot of traffic.
Yeah,
that's 59, our player to watch. Audrey Lyman showing us why she is that player to watch. Finds 45 for the score. 3-4, Radiance.
And that was a situation where I think it might have been Abby Hecko. You know, she had the disc at the same time, but the offense had it first.
Right.
Tie goes to the offense regardless.
Do appreciate, though, Hecko getting in there, making that effort, trying to get there. I think that level of intensity is going to be important for Gridlock to win this game.
Yeah, this has been a very back and forth game already. So far, the Radiance are up by a break.
Less than a minute left in the first quarter. PUL rules, when the time goes off, whoever has the disc, it's a last possession. So they are able to take as much time as they want to score, but once they turn it over, that's the end of the quarter.
And just from my, watching these games and watching the Gridlock, they are excellent at time management, and I would find it very surprising if they go ahead and even remotely attempt to score within these last 51 seconds before the clock expires.
We'll see.
Yeah, there's plenty of time, but
LNU
I've seen them work it
with the
around.
disc. Got Krebs and Pressburg working some more with Malin. Moving fast.
Very
and this
fast.
is, I think, what Gridlock does best. Quick handler movement. Not having too much trouble. Radiance, though, keeping up with their players as they move. Eli Pressburg again in a power position. Looks off ding.
I'd be very surprised if they make any sort of shot at an attempt to not just hold this disc through the quarter.
I think that's the right call. Hold the disc until the timer goes off, then make your attempt to score. Great undercut from number 4.
See, even there, holstering that's the right decision.
Finds DeJesus. Oh, and that's a turn. Did the timer go off
It
before?
should have. It should have gone off.
Big throw from Colton. And
okay.
Observers are calling that score. So must have gotten it just in time. Number 24 for the score for Radiance. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. Shout out to our Gridlock sponsor, Well by Messer, the premier metabolic and wellness health center for metabolic health in New York and Connecticut. Under the leadership of Manhattan-based endocrinologist Dr. Caroline Messer, a team of endocrinologists, adult and pediatric, internists, dermatologists, urologists, gynecologists, psychologists, registered dietitians, and trainers are dedicated to a mind and body approach to wellness. At Well by Messer, the goal is to support successful outcomes through a personalized and balanced approach using evidence-based medicine and wellness. All right, and we'll be right back for the second quarter. All right, another thank you to MatchFit Performance. MatchFit Performance is happy to be providing another season of sports performance and rehabilitation services to New York Gridlock. From the sidelines to the gym and back onto the field, owners Raina and Irwin are dedicated to helping athletes come back from injury and continue to excel in their sports. They offer individualized remote training plans, private and small group in-person training, and remote and in-person physical therapy. Check them out on Instagram at MatchFit Performance. This live broadcast is brought to you by the Premier Ultimate League. The PUL is a 501c6 nonprofit. This league has been community funded since day one, and we are so grateful for the support. We ask that you consider donating to help us continue to transform and fulfill our mission. Head to premierultimateleague.com to donate today. Little bit of confusion going into the second quarter whether or not that last point from Radiance would count with the clock going off. Looks like it will stand 3 Gridlock, Radiance 5.
The only thing I could speculate is that the actual time that they were keeping on the field was, I didn't hear them have the buzzer go off.
Right.
And that's the only thing I could speculate.
Gridlock coming into the second quarter down 2. What adjustments would you say we need to make to get some break points on the board and get ahead?
Absolutely. I personally just think they need to play a little bit harder defense. I think that the Radiance is having their way deep, and I think with the lack of wind, we're going to need to see them adjust defensively.
Yeah, one thing that I was thinking yesterday, reflecting on the Surge game, Surge really struggled in the deep space to connect. A lot of deep shot misses in their game against Gridlock, which is not what is happening here today with Radiance. Radiance having no problem connecting deep.
Absolutely, and that game against Surge was quite windy, and in that regard,
so the wind quick turn,
and the wind just played a factor there.
Yeah.
In that disc lofting, floating.
Gridlock with the disc. They really want to stay focused here and come up with this break.
Abby Hecko with a great cut. Getting inside position, under.
We've got...
And fantastic throw
amazing.
Up line.
That's exactly what you want to see if you are Gridlock coming into the second quarter. Brown, Hecko working together well.
And spiked with authority. Just a fantastic start to the second quarter for Gridlock. They needed a break, and they got one.
Let's see that one more time. Emily Wang involved in this as well.
The wind just caught it. That's what it looked like to me. I mean...
just a little bump up, yeah. Abby Hecko patient, waiting for the right option, and Brown gives it to her.
Yeah. From a perspective of fault or... how it occurred, the throw just popped up and it hit their hand. So I would put blame on both people.
Got a similar line coming back out. Still have Brown, Wang, Hecko out there. Young's joining them.
And Radiance is still up one break.
Mm-hmm.
Although they did actually. Yeah, they're still up a break.
Competitive game so far. Pull coming down.
A very high, lofty pull that allows the defense to set up.
Yeah, not a very long pull, which will put Radiance in a good position. They're looking deep. Sam Johnson almost with fingers on it. But 21, Julia Hoffman is who comes down with it. Great defensive pressure from Sam just over their hands.
And
Johnson, another player. The pink visor and braid, working for me. Easy to know who they are.
And actually, I think Sam may have even gotten a hand on that. Just a very small tip of the finger. But, you know, that is a risk-reward play. And ultimately, Radiance is really bombing it deep. And it's connecting.
My mistake, Sam's last name is Harris. I said Sam Johnson. That's Harris, number 74.
Yeah, they had excellent defensive pressure.
Jenny DeJesus talking up the line, captain of Gridlock this year, letting them know what she wants to see on this point. Big pull from Julia Zwierzinski.
Yeah, that pull went an additional 20 yards further than the last pull.
Number 22, seasoned vet as well for Radiance. Confident on the field, strong defensive player. DeJesus working in the backfield. Oh, looking for Ella Young's discus turfed. Tough one.
Yeah, I'll have to look at a replay, but it looked like she holstered it and then threw it after.
Dawn Colton, 11, with the disc. Working together with number 9, Ginny Rydell.
Oh, what a D by Pressburg.
Yeah, Eli Pressburg with the D, getting it back for Radiance. Huge. Definitely don't want to give Radiance another break opportunity here. That's Grace Connolly. Wow, great jump.
It's a great inside-out break.
Looking for Ella Youngst again.
What a throw by Jolie Krebs.
Wow.
Like I said, Jolie just makes the exceptional look effortless.
Really great field vision and shows, I don't know, the Frisbee knowledge, Frisbee IQ, to know who you're playing with and know the spots that they can hit. Great cut from Youngs. Makes that break side cut. It doesn't hit. A little bit of an S-cut turnaround, getting it in the deep backspace of the end zone.
And clearly had an understanding that Youngst was just going to beat her defender in that spot. Put it to space. Gorgeous play by Krebs. Now we're at 5-6.
Great hold from Gridlock with that turnover. You really don't want to give Radiance any more break opportunities here. Their offensive line getting it back, keeping this a 1-point game. Pull comes up.
Yeah, it was a great run through D by Pressburg.
Good pressure from Gridlock, but Radiance able to get it. Oh, spoke too soon. Liv Player with a run through D. Good vision. Don't think the throw is necessarily coming to her player, but right spot. Brown with the disc. Stall count getting high. Big looks looking a little short. Looking for Sophia Ding. Surrounded by defense, a little bit too tricky there.
Yeah. By the end, she was essentially triple teamed, and the throw just hung a little bit too much.
Grace Connolly on the mark, forcing backhand. Jenny Way working in the handle space at this point with Lyman. It's bit of Gary Curtis again with the disc. Big look, looking deep.
It's a great pull. It's a great deep throw.
Gridlock would like to thank Dr. Lucia Jimenez, Principal and Clinical Director of Elmhurst Physical Therapy and Balance Center, for their support. Elmhurst Balance and Physical Therapy Center is a full-service rehabilitation facility based in Queens, committed to their patients' well-being and recovery. They offer state-of-the-art equipment designed to facilitate early return to functional activities, a professional bilingual administrative staff, and expert licensed clinical therapists. Thank you, Dr. Jimenez. (5-7) here. Important hold for Gridlock. Their O-line really wanting to score every point they have the opportunity for and counting on their D-line for a break to put them back in the game.
I noticed that Gridlock seemed to be forcing middle last point.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Saw a backhand force followed by a flick. Usually teams will force all one direction or all the other, but another defensive strategy is trying to force to the middle, taking away the downfield options and encouraging the handlers to swing. That's a turn just out of the hands of Ella Youngst. Number 14 picking up for Radiance, looking deep for 24. Radiance really having no problem working in the deep space this game. That's Rippy 27 with the disc. Oh, bounced off the hands of Don Colton.
And that is a uncharacteristic minor error by Don Colton.
Definitely if you're Gridlock feeling lucky to have the disc back, but blessing and a curse to pick it up on this corner sideline, tricky spot to get the disc.
Definitely. Coffin corner is what we call it, I would say.
Great inside flick from Pressburg.
Absolutely critical to get it off that.
Young's coming down into the backfield to help out. Finds Abby Hecko. Finding Pressburg again in power position. Want to see someone going deep here. A little bit too late. Jenny DeJesus with the sliding catch. Youngst keeping it in. Do like this matchup, Youngst and Zwierzinski. Calls Hecko in. Great tail on the line. Wow, huge jump from Pressburg. Looks like a pick was called on the field, but did not affect that play.
Incredible job by Pressburg to high point that disc. Really seemed to levitate.
Yeah, I did not think that they were coming down with that one. Good for them.
They got up an additional 2 inches higher than I thought they were going to.
Gridlock close to their end zone here. Oh.
Great Scoober.
Scoober, an upside down throw from Pressburg. And that's the score from Krebs. Hecko to Krebs for the score, 6-7.
A great break by Hecko to get that around to get Krebs, who was wide open on the break side of the end zone.
Hecko, a great thrower. On the field today, we have 3 Callahan winners. Got Abby Hecko, Dawn Colton, and Jolie Krebs. Really high-level competition and players who have been playing since college. They have the knowledge, the athleticism, and the Frisbee IQ to really show up.
Yeah, we just have a wealth of incredible talent on this field.
Looks like there may have been a timeout called. Got Radiance on the line, but Gridlock circled up.
New York took a timeout.
All right, that's a Gridlock timeout.
I think Gridlock just sees this as a pivotal moment in the game and is taking the opportunity to regroup. And I expect to see them to come out and really attack to try to get this break and tie this game up.
Yeah, I completely agree. Salt Athletic, NY Gridlock is teaming up with Salt Athletic to keep our gear fresh and our game strong. Their odor-blocking cleat bag is the ultimate sidekick for every athlete because the only thing that should be unstoppable is you. Use NY Gridlock 15 at checkout.
And that's Gridlock's Cartiana its own. But yeah, with the rules that the PUL has in place to allow substitutions during a timeout, it is really quite rare to see them be used between points. Would you agree with that, Jet?
Yeah, I would agree with that. You can, if a coach calls a timeout while a point is going on, it stops play and you can sub out players. So not as common to see it in between points, but like Sophie said, a pivotal moment. You really want to get this break and turn the tone of the game around, putting out a really strong D-line to generate an opportunity for Gridlock here to tie it up.
And they're getting the fans involved. I like it. we'll see how it works out. But it's definitely a strategic decision to use your timeout in that type of way with the rules in place as they are.
Lyman with the disc is able to get it off the sideline.
She's our player to watch, Lyman.
Excuse me, not Betcher. That's Alex Barnett. Good pressure. That's what you want to see from Gridlock if their only option is to throw backwards. But Radiance having really no problem swinging all the way across the field. Number 6, Rydell with the disc. Radiance making it look pretty easy here. Stall count getting high. Good defense. Lyman with this right on the end zone. Oh, to an uncovered bit of Gary Curtis. 6-8. Radiance. Five minutes left in the first half. Really, Gridlock is going to need a break opportunity in the next 5 minutes. Definitely don't want to go into half down. Radiance really showing up, setting the tone for this season. Would be huge for them to be 3 games into the season and be 3-0. Of their schedule for the season, Gridlock definitely one of the most competitive teams they will play. So definitely send a message if they win this game.
Yeah, Gridlock's certainly starting off with a very difficult schedule right off the bat. The Surge on the road in Philly, who is one of the 2 top teams in the North, and then having to come back here and play the top of the table of the South. So.
And definitely that Surge game was... Gridlock came out on top, but it was not a decisive game. In the end of the fourth quarter, Gridlock was down 2, was able to come back and win it. But definitely fans at home were holding their breath. Pressburg and Hecko looking confident together with Malin.
One more thing, I did attend that Gridlock Surge game, and I was incredibly impressed with the poise of Gridlock while they did get down in the fourth quarter. You would have never thought it.
Yeah, definitely they keep a good energy. Oh, definitely height one out there with the Rippy Youngst matchup. Little too long floating in the air, giving the jump ball to Radiance.
And it seemed like a high stall count led to, poor execution on the part of Krebs.
Lucky day for Gridlock. Definitely they want to get it back here on their end zone. 6-8 here. Definitely don't want to give Radiance another break opportunity.
Yeah, I'll be honest. That was a gift to Gridlock. That I don't see how the turn occurred, but it occurs right in their end zone, and Gridlock immediately capitalizes.
Hecko to Pressburg, 7-8. I'm sure they're breathing a little sigh of relief not having to play the whole field down on defense and getting it right back on their end zone here. Definitely a best-case scenario when you turn over the disc.
I am starting to notice a little bit of wind. It looks to me like when that throw was thrown back, the wind just caught it and it died.
Rippy, a very strong defensive player. Yeah, just not quite looking for Colton there, and not quite enough air underneath it. Kind of got pushed down.
Yeah, I think it caught too much edge. I don't think the player would have intended to put that much bend or bladiness on the disc. So that is a gift to Gridlock, and they will use it, and now it's 7-8. Really great game that we have between 2 top teams in the league.
Yeah, definitely a game you want to see. I don't know about you, but I don't really ever like watching a blowout. Not as exciting to watch as these games that stay within 1, within 2.
No, I don't even like being a part of a blowout. Let me lose a close game. At the end of the day, I want to see competition, and I want to be a part of competition.
Barnett with the disc. Looking for Lyman. Handler defense looking tight, not gaining a lot of yards here.
But certainly, as a fan, this is a treat, and as a player, you want to play in close, tight games. This is how you prepare yourself for championship weekend.
Absolutely.
What a catch there.
Definitely the wind is picking up. You can see from the trees against the sideline that it is getting more breezy. Gridlock generates a turn. Oh, you do want to keep the pace pushing. Hecko had the step there, but throw wasn't quite where Brown would have wanted it to be.
And Cassie Brown is particularly upset with herself. And at the end of the day, like, that is what I would call a fine decision, poor execution. And that's what caused the turn. But I don't find the decision to throw it in that position problematic. The throw was just not what she was looking for.
I would agree. 45 with a sliding catch. We've got Grace Connerly on the mark.
That's a great catch.
I believe that's Rydell running, getting the very end of that disc.
And Radiance is off to the running on the strong side.
Oh, wow. Great grab. Another deep disc. 45 to catch it right outside their end zone. A lot of pressure here. No defense on Lyman to score that. Little bit too far away.
Yeah, Lyman definitely chased after the disc. It appeared the defender of Lyman thought maybe that if it was caught, it would be in the end zone. That's what I saw. That was a great turn. Like, Gridlock did a great job to get the turn there, but they didn't pay it off. And honestly, Gridlock's going to be beating themselves up because that is a missed opportunity by Cassie Brown. Hecko's wide open.
Getting that break opportunity and not converting when you are in this position where you desperately need a break to put you back in the game. Frustrating as a player. You want to trust your throws and know that you have that. Cassie Brown, a player that has that throw. Frustrating to see the execution error in that situation when you know that 99 times out of 100 you have that throw.
And I think that's why she was so upset about it. But if I'm her coach, I'm saying throw that 99 out of 100 times because it's the right decision. Abby Hecko was streaking deep. She was wide open. And the disc is wet, and sometimes execution problems still happen even at this level.
Thank you, fans in the chat. It's Reed Dole. I believe that's number 6 for Radiance. Sorry, 9. Jenny Riedel. Disc is up, a deep shot looking for Jungst. And she comes down with it, not in the end zone.
And Jungst's speed is just absolutely on display in that point.
Absolutely. For a shorter player, she moves a crazy amount of distance. Really powerful player.
What a great spike. And apparently she might not have been in.
Not sure what the conversation is here. She's... looks like there was maybe a call on the throw.
All right. Run it back. No, I think it's a score.
A score. Okay, great.
Is it? That might just be this looks like a timeout. I think it is not a score and it is a timeout. Based on where the huddle is of the Radiance.
Could be. So what may have happened is when number 10, Jungst, had the disc, a coach on the sideline getting concerned about the high stall count, calls a timeout to reset the stall count and get them in a better position to score.
Yeah, because I didn't think it could be like a contested stall at that point.
Yes, it does look like...
there have been points of confusion during this game.
Gridlock coming back out on offense with Jungst having the disc. So Gridlock moving fast, handler quick movement, something that they excel at. They've got Jungst back working with Pressburg and Krebs.
And interestingly enough, Radiance comes out in a type of zone almost.
Yeah, definitely putting pressure on the thrower, kind of allowing the swing. Oh.
What a break.
Yeah, sees that back corner option, no problem hitting it.
Was that Pressburg's break around?
Yeah, Pressburg's break around, and I'm looking for number. I believe that's number 66. Janine Halavati.
And I think this is a good point to bring up the fact that Gridlock plays a pretty short roster. They honestly they play one of the shorter benches within the league and really focus on their top 10 players, I would say.
Yeah, and that's it's a choice. If you look on Gridlock's website, the number of people that are on Gridlock versus the number of people that are on the game day roster, they have a lot of people in the program, and something that happens frequently is players who have been around for a year or two getting these opportunities to get on the field and show out and show what they've got.
Oh, absolutely. They have a lot of depth.
Great pull from Liv player, making it most of the way down the field. Lyman picking up on the 20. Good mark from Wang, making throwing back really the only option there. Looks like there was a contact call on the mark. So number 31, Pressburg, not allowed to touch the thrower. It can reset the stall count. Good pressure from Wang.
And this is just a really critical point. 8-9, under a minute.
Definitely want to see the most intense defense you have for the day in this point. 46 seconds to go. Big deep shot. Looking for Lytle. She comes down with it. Oh, no. Devastating. Great deep, and 21 not able to keep it in her hands. That's Julia Hoffman. This is the exact opportunity that Gridlock wants to have here. 30 seconds. So what they want to do is certainly keep the disc until the clock runs out.
Yeah, while Pressburg was wide open there, they do not want to try to score here before that clock runs out.
Youngs with a big strike. 8 seconds left in the clock. Keep that disc swinging. Even if you see that opportunity for a deep shot, wait until that clock goes off. Now is when you push to score.
And now we have a situation where if the next turn will go to half.
Cassie Brown with a good inside flick, finding Pressburg, who finds player. This point is huge for Gridlock.
What an inside-out break.
Gridlock put out a really strong line for this point.
That was Liv Strong, wasn't it?
Liv Player.
Liv Player, I'm sorry. Liv Strong's the one on, sorry.
Pressburg with the catch for the break that Gridlock needs to tie this game up going into half. It is 9-9.
Things could not have worked out better for the Gridlock on that last set of that last possession.
Very fun game to watch. Both teams really showing their strength.
Everything you would want in a game between two top teams, between the North and the South.
Absolutely. Great break throw from player to Pressburg. A lot of trust there. Really great look.
And my knowledge of the soul came in because Liv strongest player on that team.
If you are enjoying the stream, please consider donating to the teams. All donations go directly to supporting player travel and training. Thank you. All right. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll meet you back here after halftime. All right, welcome back to second half. We'd like to thank some of our local sponsors. We take a moment to recognize all our local team sponsors and partners. Well by Messer, Match Fit Performance, Baker Street Health, A Voice Behind the Lens, Elmhurst Physical Therapy, Educated Financial. Defend Trans Rights, Mojo, and Salt Athletic. Thank you for supporting New York Gridlock Ultimate. Big change to note coming out of half. The score has been adjusted. It is 9 Gridlock, 8 Radiance. The score at the end of the first quarter did not count. The buzzer had gone off as we were kind of going back and forth about whether or not the turnover happened before or after the time ran out. It happened after, so that score will not count. 9 Gridlock, 8 Radiance.
And I have to say, I am not surprised, and I think that is absolutely the right decision.
A little bit hard to tell with the scoreboard time and our stream time and the time the observers are keeping. So they did take the time to review that play. Coming out in Gridlock's favor, that's huge. Coming out into this half, starting on offense up by 1 is a great position to be in. Definitely a little defeating if you're Radiance, but also maybe motivating.
It is an awkward and odd situation to go in with the half at 1 score and come out at a different. It has to be deflating, but I expect Radiance to be able to.
It's Wierzinski with the pull. Krebs picking up and is working with Pressburg. As we were talking about at the beginning of the stream, if who would really fill the space with Cardenas and Cartagena out, Krebs and Pressburg really answering that call.
Absolutely. I was going to say Pressburg for sure. I feel Krebs has played all over the field.
Also number 26, Malin. Oh, wow. Huge layout D from Rippey.
Absolutely amazing play by Rippey there.
I'm not sure I really love the Rippey-Youngst matchup. Well, I guess I love it if I'm on Radiance. I think, if someone scores 3, maybe 4 points in the first half, you're going to want to put a player who can shut them down in the second half, and Rippey has been able to do that so far.
Yeah, absolutely. That seems like a defensive adjustment on the part of Radiance to try to stop honestly, the fastest player on Gridlock today. This has been a really great defensive battle on this point already.
Radiance getting the disc back again. Hugh running up the stall there, finds the reset with Colton.
It just certainly feels like the defensive pressure's been ratcheted up. What a layout.
Big layout from the score from number 9.
They're not going to say that's a score.
Still out of bounds, okay?
It was out of the end zone.
Yeah, out of the end zone.
And, that disc floats and is out of the end zone. And that's going to be critical that was out of the end zone.
That's a turn.
And that in-out call of the end zone is going to be critical. Because from our vantage point, I also thought that disc was in the end zone.
Yeah, absolutely. A little hard to tell from up here. So.
Oh, certainly. The observers got the right call. It's just, this has to be deflating.
Ooh, a little too high over the hands. Radiance getting another chance close to their end zone here. Rito picking up, finding Wierzinski.
Both teams seem to be settling into the second half right now.
Timeout was called. Good time so this is more of a D line for Radiance. This close to the end zone, you're down by 1. I would maybe put our strongest O players who can really convert in the red zone on at this point, bring the tie back.
Absolutely, and this is a much more common usage of timeouts than what we saw by Gridlock in the first half. You know, what's really interesting and unique to the PUL is they get to sub out whoever they want, and the other team, I believe, has the ability to sub out all of their players as well.
Right.
So it's almost more interested to see who actually stays when you have that opportunity, right?
I had a question in the chat about the score change. One more time, just in case you missed it when we were coming in from half. Radiance's score coming out of the end of the first quarter, the time did expire before the turnover, so that point did not count.
And since it was just that one possession through, it was very easy for them to remove that score as just being not part of the actual game.
Right, exactly. Radiance picking up. They got Lyman on the disc back with Barnett. A handle set that has really been working for Radiance this game.
And while people who are watching online or even here may wonder about that, that is the right call. The clock had expired before the turn, and so Radiance should not have been able to go down the field and score in the first quarter.
Barnett with a little bit of a high stall count.
In a good round.
Yeah, finds way and finds Lyman for the score, 9-9.
Right back on serve.
Great focus from Radiance to be put in kind of halfway through a point, thrown into the situation where the disc is, and a few throws turn it into a score. That is professional, ultimate. These players really have it like that.
You expect nothing less from the offensive set, who's going to be brought in for this particular reason to hold on, possess the disc, and score, so that you don't have to actually go on there and play any defense. So I didn't expect them to do anything less, but it is very impressive to just be dropped into that situation and perform.
We've got this O-line that has been working well for Gridlock most of the day. Youngs, Pressburg, Krebs, DeJesus.
Even with them playing very well, they haven't had a lot of clean holds, though.
That's true. Yeah, a lot of opportunities and turnovers. Halavati out there as well.
I feel like Gridlock's playing very poised.
And Mailman as well. Mailman catching the pole, centering to Pressburg.
They're in a vertical stack.
Do you like that matchup, Colton and Pressburg? Long reach. Ooh, floating disc.
And
just out of the hands of DeJesus. A little bit too floaty. You want to be hitting players with a speed like DeJesus in stride and not giving taller players the chance to come in on defense.
Yeah, in fact, it looked to me that disc was uncatchable and landed out of bounds.
Great catch from Zwierzinski. Looking for another long one.
Wow, what a throw.
Oh, I think that's going to be a little too far. Maybe needed to pause for a moment or a little less heat on that throw for number 18 to have had a chance to get there.
Absolutely. She either needed to put more air under it or pause a minute. But she sure did bomb it down the field. And
I think that first throw was Carmen Tormey. Yes, we haven't seen a ton of her yet this game. Really strong defensive player. Great throws. Pressburg finds Junst.
Nice inside-out break to Junst. Jenny Jesus just loves to slide when she catches the disc.
And whatever it takes.
It's probably why she was always wearing the track pants. It's her signature look. She's on her 7th year with the Gridlock, I believe.
Krebs with the disc. Stalcon getting a little high. Inside flick finding Pressburg. Floaty.
But Junst just has
coming down with the...
She just has the speed. And 4 is wide open. Yeah.
Looks like she wasn't really looking for the disc. So Junst is still back in the handle set with Krebs. Great opportunity here for Gridlock. Havlavati kind of by herself. Maybe there was a call?
No, they're sagging. Like this is a purposeful defensive scheme. I don't think it was a good decision. And that was an incredible break, inside-out break to Denny DeJesus.
Yeah, that sag look on defense in the end zone. I'm not sure I agree with it, but no one's hired me to coach a PUL team yet, so.
Not yet, but I agree with you. It made no sense and it allowed a reset. you know.
I think with the conditions as they are, it's not particularly windy, and you're playing a team that has really strong throwers.
Yeah, I'd have to relook at this point, but it seemed the person was either caught off guard or they just weren't guarding one of the players.
That inside break as well to De Jesus. Hard throw to block as the marker on the thrower.
And I'd have to look at it again, but it looked to me that Krebs did like a shoulder shimmy and then did her break. I mean, she just has incredible reaction time and kind of has the fast twitch muscle.
We got De Jesus out here again for a deep point.
I expect nothing less from the captain.
We'll see how this point goes. This is the line that was able to get the break out of going into the end of halftime.
And I think we have an infraction.
Yeah, it looks like that was a violation. I'm not sure. Looks like the disc will be going back, though, and they will No,
it's going to be a violation, and I think they may get the disc at the 50.
Looks like some disagreement.
Okay, they're not.
Going back. So it could have either been that one of the players crossed the line before the throw was off, or maybe they hadn't given them, the observer hadn't given them the signal to get started.
Certainly. Look like offsides to me.
Yeah. Live player number 3 to pull. One of the stronger pullers for Gridlock. Been matched up all day against number 2, Gary Curtis for Radiance.
Yeah, she's...
Great pull. Floating, hanging. That's what you want. You want the disc to hang so your defense has time to get back there, but you don't want it to be flying out of bounds, which is kind of the risk you take with this kind of crosswind we're seeing, pushing the disc to that side of the field.
And with the decision to throw a more lofty pull, yeah, which was clearly a decision that was made purposefully, but obviously they didn't want the disc to go out of bounds.
Lyman picking up the disc. They're in a good spot, middle of the field, halfway down the field.
Look at that active mark by Jenny De Jesus.
Great rundowns by Radiance.
Good
mark from, Sam Harris with a good mark, forcing the reset to lose some yards.
Very active marks by Gridlock on this possession. I'm impressed. And it's going to look like it was going to pay off.
Wang had the opportunity there, but couldn't quite get some fingers on it. Great stop on that strike cut.
Nice high release backhand there. And a good throw up the line.
Number 4, Alex Barnett for the score.
And the rare butt spike.
I've never been one for the kick spike. I'm too scared that I will not get the disc. So butt spike is a classic. 10-10, 6 minutes left in the third quarter.
And I literally have been playing Frisbee so long that spikes and our views towards them have gone through a full evolution. But this is a really great game, and the fans here are really being,
Take a second here. Let's take a thank you to Jen Voice Nelson, voice behind the lens. Photos for tonight's game are being taken by Voiche is how you pronounce this. Voiche Nelson, the official photographer of New York Gridlock, founder of Voiche Behind the Lens. Jen is a Long Island-based sports photographer and ultimate Frisbee player. She got her start with the New York Mets over a decade ago, and since then has moved on to working with the UFA's Empire and NBA G League's Long Island Nets. Check her out on social media at avoichebehindthelens.com.
And as a fellow photographer, her stuff is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm really consistently impressed with Gridlock's media.
Pressburg with the disc, stall count getting high.
Really good shimmy to get open for the break there with their shoulders.
Number 4, Marie Weverka, been really active in the downfield space. Great jump from Youngst. De Jesus with the disc.
She's just everywhere for them. And someone, Youngst fell down. I don't know if it was a foul, but there was a stoppage of play.
Everybody's okay. Looks like disc is coming back in with Mailman.
Good defense there by Radiance.
I've been saying Mailman. It is mail in. number 26 for Gridlock.
Duly noted. Great around.
Wow.
Really great throw by Jolie Krebs.
Youngst with another score.
Yeah,
definitely somebody that you could be calling player of the game so far. Really making her presence loud and clear. Great jump as well. I feel like the wind was about to pick that disc up, and she caught it right before it would have gotten away.
Absolutely.
Let's see that one more time. Amazing.
Really, I mean, not a particular tall player, so she high points that, but that's a great catch. And she's just been a huge difference maker in this game for the New York Gridlock. We came into this wondering, who was going to step up with the absence of the Colombians, Raleigh and Cartagena. And I just think Youngst has stepped up. She's been phenomenal. She's very fast.
Agree.
She's very, very fast. I've actually played against her, and her speed is absolutely on display at all times.
Well, I've gone to one party with her, so probably about the same.
Played against her in a tryout. I never actually got to play her in a real game, but I noticed that she was just extremely fast.
A flick rolling pole from Cassie Brown. I like that choice. It made it most of the way down the field.
And the defense was able to set up very well. And they're bombing it deep.
Looking for a deep shot that looks like a great option.
It's a really good throw.
And that is number 2, Gary Curtis throwing the score, not having Liv player, another tall player matching up with her on this point, so had an opportunity to use her height to her advantage.
Absolutely, and I think we're just seeing that the fact that the wind is quite low and minimal is just leading to a open up game for, hucking it deep, at least for the Radiance. Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
And I think that, honestly, New York Gridlock is going to have to adjust because at this point, the Radiance has established that they're kind of doing what they want on the deep part of the game. And I think Gridlock has to adjust.
Yeah, I do think we need to put some more pressure. It's tempting to think that those are more challenging shots and maybe not as high as percentage completion. Radiance is not seeming to find that the case. They are having no problems connecting, finding their throws at the exact point their runners are hitting their stride and have their steps. So the long game is working for Radiance. I don't see why they would stop 11-11.
Absolutely. And what I would point out is they're not pressing the long game. Like, they're not looking for throws that aren't there. And so when they're making the throw, it's within the rhythm of the offense. And it's really impressive to watch, honestly.
Malin picking up.
Pressburg is the disc.
Gridlock really attacking the underspace. They do have that speed.
Great around.
To kind of win the foot race. Malin, looks like a pick was called, so play will stop.
Yeah, I've been watching Krebs downfield. She's been very active, to say the least.
Malin and Pressburg working together. I was a little nervous about that throw. No problem for Pressburg, though. They come down with it.
Youngst open underneath. Youngst really is just getting open at will, honestly.
Yeah, Youngst with a different match at this point. That is number 18.
And I will argue that was not the intended receiver of that throw.
I think we could, yeah. I won't argue with you at all.
But, that's what a team is. You're there to catch, to make up for the mistakes of your teammate.
Absolutely. Especially in a sport like Ultimate, I think there's a lot of space for room for error in that you can be saved from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
A little over the hands of intended receiver, and DeJesus comes down with it.
And you can tell she's very happy, but that is just a play where she was attentive to what's going on, stayed involved in the play, and tracked the disc down. If she's not there, they don't score that, and it's a turn.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely that disc awareness, knowing even if the disc isn't for you, where the disc is and what's coming next.
We continue to say this, but this is a great game between two top teams, and now the fans are really getting into it.
It was raining at the beginning of the game. The rain has stopped now, and the fans have shown up and are getting loud.
Yes, you noted that they were coming probably through transit, so the rain probably did not dissuade them, thankfully.
By the time it started raining, you're already an hour into your 2-hour commute, so.
And we really greatly appreciate the fans who made it out here.
Disc is floating. Oh, great catch.
Behind her head, actually. It does feel like if Gridlock is going to be able to seize control of this game, they have to get some defensive pressure.
Absolutely. Another deep shot.
Yeah, it's just a great
88,
throw.
Maddie Pletsky.
Yet again, the deep shot is there, and the execution for it is perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if for Gridlock, what is the adjustment there? I think they're putting a lot of pressure on the unders, but seemingly Radiance is having...
I'd go straight up mark.
No problem getting the deep shots. Yeah, definitely a straight up mark is an option. Definitely playing some zone would be an option. I don't know that it's windy enough for that, but throwing something else, trying something else, switching the mark, switching your defense, switching some matchups.
Yeah, additionally, Gridlock might just make the position that they're also effective. Their offensive is working really effectively as well, and they are built to win these close games. So I don't think they're concerned, but, you know, at some point, if the other team keeps throwing it deep on you, you should adjust, and I expect that they will. I think that they'll probably do a straight-up mark.
12-12, 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
That wasn't so much a huck, though, as it was just a, 30-yard throw or so. And it really wasn't a situation where the mark was even on the person at all. But they got it in a power position.
A little bit of a shorter pull than Zwierzinski has had this game.
Pressburg is open there, right up on the strong side.
Connor Lee running down.
And they are now doing something different, very different on defense, the Radiance.
This is something Radiance did quite a bit in the game against Seoul, sagging a little bit and doing a lot of switching on their handle defenders.
Yeah, it seems like they're using it at a tactical time here to, Good break by Jolie.
Youngst with the disc. And if you had, playing against throwers not quite as confident as the Gridlock, that sag can be really intimidating.
And that disc was just thrown too fast, honestly.
Radiance with a chance here.
It did bounce off the hand. It went off the hands of Jenny DeJesus. I would credit that turn on both the thrower and the receiver.
Another deep shot looking for Julia Zwierzinski. Youngska has good position.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And
Young's really lucky that Rippey was a few steps off there because Rippey just has the height. So getting that jump up before Rippey was able to get into her space, really, really good timing from Youngst.
Yeah, absolutely. That throw looked like it was going to be a straight turn. And
oh, wow. Great catch from Krebs, sliding layout, keep the disc alive. Oh, that's something I love about Krebs, just points kind of where she wants people to go. She's not that worried about people knowing what she's looking for.
And Pressburg just puts a really deep throw out there. But
I like that option.
Yeah,
a little, not enough step of separation in my opinion there.
Absolutely, I was going to agree. I think that was a situation of, honestly, poor decision, fine execution.
Looking for number 4, Marie Weverka there. Didn't quite connect. Radiance with a chance to break here. It's Tormey picking up the disc, looking deep.
And both teams are just ripping it back and forth at this point.
Yeah, there we go. Weverka has the height matchup there and was able to knock it down. Important for Gridlock to be scoring their hold points.
And Krebs just...
Good. Oh, great vision from Grace Connolly, finding DeJesus for the score, 13-12.
And DeJesus ran in and got that, because otherwise that's going to be a turnover if she doesn't cut in and undercut the disc.
26 seconds left in the third quarter. Would really want to see Radiance hold on to the disc. They'll probably only have one chance to get a score here. If you're Gridlock, you want to force a turn early to give yourself an opportunity to score.
Oh, absolutely. But I certainly, from a strategic perspective, and this is something I'm just not seeing across the board for the PUL, there's certain teams that have a real clock management understanding, and there's certain ones who do not. So let's just see. If I was the Radiance right here, I would not even be initiating to try to score this within,
the 26 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you do that, that's a mistake.
Throw a few easy resets here, not taking really any big risks, not giving Gridlock an opportunity to score would be the right approach. However, Gridlock really tight-handled defenders, so there's not a ton of quote-unquote easy resets.
Oh, absolutely. But it comes down to a mentality. Are you holding the disc to try to run the clock out here? And obviously they are. They're not running towards the disc at all.
Walking, not in a rush to pick it up.
And they're doing this because they want to...
Oh!
And then that was just... Okay.
Taking the deep shot look. And it's a turnover. So that will give Gridlock the opportunity to score here. I would not have done that. If she had thrown one more reset, they would have had a chance to score, giving Gridlock no opportunities.
It's a critical mistake, and if Gridlock scores, Radiance is going to look back, and that's going to be the reason that they may lose this game.
Abby Hecko picking up the disc for Gridlock.
I did like the fake idea. Like, it was obvious to us that it looked like they were just going to hold the disc, and they did not. But at the end of the day, they've given the Gridlock this opportunity.
Number 19, our player to watch, Estelle Ding with the disc. Finding Krebs.
The Gridlock was already up 1. Now they have an opportunity to score that they never should have had.
Great patience from number 99. Waiting for the right opportunity. Hecko with the disc finds DeJesus.
And one thing I thought that was really interesting, you may not call a timeout during this particular part of the game.
Yeah, once the time has expired, not able to call a timeout.
So that is a interesting tweak to the idea of this untimed aspect of the game.
Pick was called, yeah, I think so. Abby Hecko by herself. Looks like she kind of ran through the stack a little bit.
Oh, I definitely feel it. She picked her defender. But I guess she didn't, because the disc would be going back.
So it can still be a pick, so the defender does get to catch up.
It's going back. It's going back, yeah. I agree.
Depending on how the players decide, it could be that it goes back. It could be that the player just gets to catch up. Just kind of depends on the situation.
Oftentimes in sports, we look at the last 4 minutes of the game. This is very critical right here. It's the third quarter, but they can take a 2-point lead going into the fourth.
Estelle Ding with the disc. Big fake from Abby Hecko. You thought she maybe was going to take that deep shot, but holstered. I think Gridlock is a pretty disappointing drop from DeJesus. That's a tricky one. Just kind of bobbled off her hands. That'll be the end of the third quarter.
And the Radiance really just got very lucky there that critical decision, the error in throwing that deep before the clock expired, did not end up costing them another point.
Right. Definitely Gridlock was knocking on the door here. They're very close to their end zone.
And Jenny DeJesus was a very uncharacteristic drop and somehow still caught it, was able to catch it. I'd love to look at it. Well, as spectators and as fans, the fact that the Gridlock didn't score there leads us to have a really good end-of-game fourth quarter.
All right, we'll take a quick break here. Be right back. All right, welcome back. The Discraft Ultra Star is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. We'd also like to thank Breakmark. The live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Breakmark Ultimate Apparel. Go to breakmark.com to place your next custom team order or check out the PUL Athlete Collab shops. This live broadcast is brought to you by the Premier Ultimate League. The PUL is a 501c6 nonprofit. This league has been community funded since day one, and we are so grateful for the support. We ask that you consider donating to help us to continue to transform and fulfill our mission. Head to premierultimateleague.com to donate today. This game is close with 12 minutes left to play. Gridlock coming out on defense. The wind picking up a little bit more. We can feel it now up here in the box. And has kind of shifted. It was blowing to the opposite sideline, and now it's blowing a little bit more up and down. We'll be curious to see live players pull with this shift in the wind. Great pull. Barnett picking up. De Jesus on the mark. Can't really tell if we're running a zone or if there's... Yeah, there we go. Great mark from Pressburg. Oh, good pressure from Krebs, but Six is able to make it in time. Stall count getting high. Able to find Lyman. Floaty disc. Oh, able to come down with it. And that is Barnett for the score, tying things up 13-13. Both teams, I think, seem pretty poised for a game that it's so close as we're coming towards the end of the game. Not seeing very many poor decisions, panic throws. Things like that can sometimes come when it is this close and things are so critical. Live player you see there, number 3, a little disappointed that she wasn't able to get to the D. And I do think that's what Gridlock needs. I think they're a very measured, composed team. Sometimes we need to pick up our intensity on defense to make that game-winning difference.
Absolutely. Honestly, in this game, there has not been a great deal of defensive blocks. There's been more turns that are just by drops due to the weather and the conditions. Yeah, a few run-through Ds early in the game, but lots of athleticism from both teams. That was a great fake by Pressburg there to get 18.
Pressburg finds Youngs. That's a tricky throw, but a lot of trust between those players.
And a great catch right off, scooping it off the ground.
Malin with the disc, Stall getting high. Pressburg with the disc, looking for Krebs. It's a little short. Oh! Right outside the end zone here. Finds Youngst for the reset.
Good
Plenty of speed here, I was going to say.
Absolutely phenomenal cut there by Youngst. She did she went inside and then out and just left her person in the dust.
Yeah.
That was two Callahan winners right there. Was it? No. Yeah, if you you'll see in this replay that Younks just does a phenomenal job of just an inside out.
Juke, yeah.
Just leaves her defender in the dust.
Do you think they decided before the game that Younks would score all of the points, or just kind of a
I think it's just
off-the-cuff thing?
I think it's just how it worked out, but I definitely think that there was a concentrated effort to have her be going deep and really be a focal point of this offense today. It's just so fast.
Definitely showing up. Huge impact player this game.
And obviously not just straight line speed. That was a phenomenal juke where she just left her defender and almost broke her ankles, I would say.
Yeah, I would say Rippy, a good matchup in the long field, but when you get in that short space, those quick feet moves, it seems like Younks is able to kind of take what she wants.
Rippy just overplayed it. She thought she was going to go back to the stack, and Younks just decided.
Stalkhound getting high. Good mark from Grace Connerly.
Nice break there around for the reset.
Good switch from Liv Player and Cassie Brown, making kind of taking the person that's closer to them for the defense. Radiance knocking on the door here. Easy score to Gary Curtis, number 2.
Yeah, and honestly, that possession just seemed a little bit too easy for Radiance. I felt like Gridlock did not put a great deal of pressure on.
Not a great deal of pressure. I think that there was a little bit of confusion, not quite enough tightness where we needed to be in that last few yards.
Certainly. It looked like Cassie Brown was upset that she got beat up line.
All right, Match Pit Performance is happy to be providing another season of sports performance and rehabilitation services to New York Gridlock. From the sidelines to the gym and back onto the field, owners Raina and Irwin are dedicated to helping athletes come back from injury and continue to excel in their sports. They offer individualized remote training plans, private and small group in-person training, and remote and in-person physical therapy. Check them out on Instagram at MatchFit Performance. Pressburg picking up the disc for Gridlock. 14-14.
Nice jump cut by Pressburg there.
Youngsters getting high. Prep's trying to run it down, but
What a great job of boxing out there. And
Jenny DeJesus by herself.
I just absolutely love Krebs' confidence in herself.
Yeah. I think this is one thing Gridlock does well, that quick turn. You know your teammate has it and you're gone before the defense has really had the chance to adjust. Great point from Gridlock.
There's some sort of issue here.
Yeah, looks like a call on the field.
They may have called a timeout?
Maybe. Krebs not a particularly tall player, but very knowledgeable in how to use her body positioning to be the person who comes down with the disc.
And in fact, in a very interesting situation where you're saying, she's obviously not very tall. She actually boxed out and played incredible defense on Surge. The fat. I can't remember her name.
Little name forgotten, but tall player.
Probably the best player for Surge. And she had broke her arm last year.
Not sure who you're talking about, but maybe we can find out.
It won't matter. I can't believe it. The name is missing me.
9 minutes left. Looks like a timeout was called potentially before that throw went off.
Yeah, I think they were concerned because Jenny got it so far and was so wide open.
Yeah.
Her stall count was getting up higher.
So
Lindsay McKenna.
Okay, is the player from Surge that Krebs was matched up with. So
the fact that Krebs was able to box her out is really impressive. And I just think Krebs uses her body incredibly well.
Pressburg will pick up the disc on the foreside corner of the end zone.
Yeah, Lindsay McKenna, one of the best Frisbee players on the planet.
Tight spot here. Radiance really sealing into the space. Lot of pressure Not too much pressure for Jolie Krebs, though. That's a score for Gridlock, 15-14. About 9 minutes left in the game.
That was one of the weirdest defensive sets that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like could be very effective, but once that crash comes in, if someone doesn't go with the crash, it's not very effective.
Were they zoning out of the timeout?
Yeah, kind of a. Here we go. See, maybe
nobody follows Krebs when she goes
one
around
more time here.
Look, nobody follows her.
Yeah,
they're just like, oh.
Yeah, nobody really goes with her. I don't know if they didn't notice that was happening. Maybe they thought Pressburg was going to throw a dump back, but that cup didn't really shift, allowing Krebs to score pretty easily.
They just all watched her in slow motion get open. It was pretty interesting. But I think Krebs has stepped up. Krebs and Eli Pressburg in the handling.
Absolutely.
And from a scoring perspective, absolutely youngst. Has been great. And on the Radiance side, who do you think has been their players?
Yeah, Lyman, who was our player to watch, really showing that that's true. Barnett, another really consistent player. I think Rippey really showing her defensive prowess, and with the disc number 2, Gary Curtis showing up and scoring quite a few points this game.
I've been incredibly impressed with Gary Curtis. She's been fantastic. A
little bit of a tricky throw here. What we were talking about earlier, that inside flick, a tricky one, just not an easy enough catch for number 6, Jenny Way. Giving Cassie Brown an opportunity here. Kind of the same thing back. That inside flick didn't quite work. A little outside of reach of Abby Hecko.
Yeah, it's a shame that for them to give it right back there after working hard to get the turn. That one seemed to be a poor execution on the part of Cassie Brown.
Great defense on the reset from
what a great
Cassie
catch.
Brown. Amazing catch. That's Barnett working well with Lyman.
And you can tell that the wind is starting to have an impact on that disc.
Ooh, good layout from Connolly, but it puts her a little behind on the mark. She gets there in time. Oh, wow. Great catch from Way.
Good shape of the disc to get it around the defender and get it to Way.
That combination of Barnett, Lyman, Way, they play very confidently together. A lot of chemistry, a lot of confidence.
I think that one thing that is just really underrated in sports is championship pedigree. And honestly, both of these teams have it and their players have it. Because really what we're talking about is the champions of the last 2 years. And Radiance has multiple college champions in Pleiades, correct?
That's correct. UNC, Don Colton, for sure, one of the Callahan winners.
Yeah, I think the team is chock full of players for Pleiades. But I think the point there is that I'm making is none of them are going to be flustered by the moment of a 15-15 game.
Absolutely.
You know, in professional ultimate or any ultimate, they're built for this type of moment. And I think we're going to see really good execution and decision-making down the stretch.
Julia Zwierzinski, another Pleiades player, as well as Annie Boko.
And for those who aren't aware, Pleiades, the greatest women's college program of the last decade.
As well as Jenny Way. So a lot of depth in that programming from the college level to the club level to the pro level. Pressburg with the disc. Good pressure on the handle defense.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing Krebs and Pressburg being the main handlers in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny
Great catch from DeJesus.
Just making every single play that needs to be made. Jenny is out there.
Right on the end zone line here. Stalcon getting up. Ooh. Oh, good D.
Yeah. That disc caught Jenny off guard.
Looks like there was a call.
I believe
injury?
There was an injury. Pressburg's calling an injury.
Pressburg's calling an injury, yeah.
And it looks like Liv player is going to come in for Pressburg. Janine Holavati had the disc on that turn, but quickly recovered to pushing
down deep and not allowing 24 to be in the deep space uncontested. That's Hannah Betcher for Radiance.
Oh, I think what they're... I don't know. I'm wondering if they're trying to determine when the injury was, but it doesn't seem like it.
Maybe, yeah. So if the injury was called before that throw went off, it would go back to the thrower. But it looks like Radiance will keep the disc.
Yeah, that was not the situation. Up line cut. Highly contested there.
Looks like there is a foul call from Gridlock.
Wow. Krebs just has a really great layout, but oh my goodness, Youngst! Oh, sorry. I probably shouldn't clap.
Run through D.
Youngst, what a play.
In keeping with tradition from my Austin days, I'm going to call that run through block the Jet high motor turbo play of the game.
I love it. And I'm a defensive player myself, so when someone gets an incredible defensive play like that, it just really excites me. And Jenny just makes an incredible catch and spike. Wow. When we see this in instant replay, you're going to see she scoops this off the ground, and it is a phenomenal catch of what is honestly a suboptimal throw.
Great showing from Gridlock here with that run through D and the scoop up catch. I think at this level of play, a run through D is so much more impressive to me than at the club or college level, because every single person on the field is fast. So having the step that you can run past them when you're both sprinting is a crazy high level of speed, which is definitely something that Youngst brings to the table, joining Gridlock this year. Huge pickup for Gridlock.
Absolutely. And honestly, that's also a situation where the defender just was unaware that Youngst was that fast, because she shouldn't have thrown the disc.
It did look a little to me like the angle of the throw. Rippy did have to slow down if she was going to be able to catch it. Would have been maybe not a situation if the throw was a little bit more out in front of Rippy.
Certainly. Great defense by Youngst.
Comes the pull from Player.
She continues to be...
That's one of the best
really
pulls
the impact
all
player.
day from Player.
Yeah,
really finding the wind, letting defense have a chance to get down there while they're still far back in their own side of the field.
Indeed, and that's the first time that she's really got her pull down and not been as lofty. So that was one of the best pulls I've seen all day.
Layout catch, but looks like they're out of bounds, so that is a turnover, and Gridlock will get the disc. They're up 16-15. This break would be a huge game changer for Gridlock.
And Gridlock's aware of that, and I expect to see them take good care of this disc.
Great jump from Ella. Her hops are unbelievable. I feel like she's getting like 2-3 feet of air jumping.
Yeah, it's definitely a Spider-Man situation. Or Spider-Woman situation.
Looks like there was a call maybe a while back.
It did appear that everyone stopped playing for a period of time.
Screaming on the field. Did anybody make a call? I heard a yes. Okay. Disc coming back to Hecko, coming in on 0.
She called a foul and then threw it. Okay. Wow.
Almost for a D for Gary Curtis there. Live Player at the disc.
Yeah, it was an excellent pressure by
Hecko and Krebs working well together, keeping things moving.
Good fake by Hecko there.
Stalcombe getting a little high. Youngst popping back in.
And Youngst is just getting open at will underneath. She's just too fast.
Great cut from 74 Harris. Looked off.
I expect Youngst to get open again.
Oh, great pressure from Rippy. Actually, that's Barnett. I apologize.
And Hecko has the disc right here in the corner. There's Youngst.
Good holster. I can appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely.
Hecko and Youngst, good friends. Always tempting to throw to your bestie.
And I think they all know how critical this point is here to get a break and go up 2 points.
Yeah, 4 minutes to go. I think it'd be,
they're going to call timeout.
Yeah. This has been kind of a long point. These players are running hard, maybe get some fresh legs in to get the speed to score here.
Yeah, they called a timeout. I think recognizing the critical point and juncture in the game, the coaches called a timeout there to just make sure that they can punch this one in.
With 4 minutes left in the game, I feel like it's the best decision for Gridlock. Get a strong line out there. Use the time that you need, not rushing, swing as much you need to, burn down the clock a little bit and score. Putting yourself up by 2 with a minute, maybe 2 minutes left to go would be a great position to be in.
Yeah, and amazingly, I don't think they're going to really actually sub out that many of the players. Even though they have the full option of doing it, Krebs, Jenny DeJesus, Youngst, and Hecko are all going to be on, and player.
Looks like, same line staying out there, just giving them a moment to breathe, catch your breath, set up the play that you want.
Absolutely. This is all about execution, not taking necessarily advantage of the substitution rules, and I think it's just a great decision. And we now see, again, they're coming out in this zone, and it'll be interesting to see if they follow the action where Krebs comes around here and is wide open.
Gridlock having players start in the back corner, but now that the zone is kind of pushing them back, coming back into the field, getting involved. Haven't seen that much zone in the backfield from Radiance. Great over the top, a lot of trust to Youngst there. The thing with zone is that you really want to keep the disc moving and keep the players that are the 3 girls in the cup running, wear them out.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of wind here, so the fact that they're running zone, there you go. I'm not surprised that Gridlock was able to punch that in.
Me neither. DeJesus finds a gap in that cup to Youngst,
who continues to just be the player of the game.
Yeah, really quick player and knows where to be. I think in zone, if you're a cutter in the downfield, you're not running as much. You're needing to strategically place yourself in those holes as the cup is shifting.
Absolutely.
And Ella did just that.
She finds the space, and honestly, based on the fact that she's just faster than her defender, she gets there. Like, I watch her the whole game, and she's not even necessarily doing fancy cuts to get open. She has, but she doesn't need to. And she had a phenomenal catch there where it was very contested, I think maybe even by her defender. Is it Rippey?
Mary Rippey has been matching up. I think Barnett was matching up that game.
I just noticed that she had a catch where someone was laying out, and it looked effortless, but honestly, the Gridlock were very poised there, and now up 2 with under 3 minutes and 30 seconds. They're really in full control of this game. They're
in a good place, and I think that's something that Gridlock, knew they had in them this whole game, and I've been able to kind of pull it together here and score the break points that are necessary to put them ahead in this game.
Yeah, I'm particularly impressed throughout the season and in general with Gridlock's poise. They just never seem to be flustered.
Here comes a pull from Liv Player from the opposite side of the field that she's been pulling from. Really makes it all the way down the field. Great pull.
And in fact, I think that more of the scores have gone the opposite direction.
Yes, true.
Like a vast majority of them. And they are, they're zoning. They're tactically going to run a zone.
For the team coming into the win this way. Not really a true zone, but having the handle defenders kind of sag into the lane. What they're giving Radiance is the resets. It's fine for you to swing and have the resets, but we want to take away the downfield undercuts.
Especially being down, they're down 2 now, like the clock is against them.
Yeah, definitely want them to throw a lot of throws. 2 minutes left, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and they're really getting pushed back, not making much headway against this defense look. Great hammer to kind of break through that zone.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It seems like a sagging zone, not like a 3-3-1, but almost like a... All the handlers are individual and everyone downfield is playing zone. Is that what it looks like to you? Like
yes.
they're sagging off of the handlers and then playing zone downfield.
Great catch from Gary Curtis.
Yeah.
A lot of space in this area to score.
Yeah, they broke it open.
Yeah.
But I think that did what it was supposed to do, which was really make that a possession that took about a minute.
Yeah, definitely.
You know.
Less than 2 minutes to go. It will be critical for Gridlock's O-line to hold here and keep the gap and not allow Radiance to tie it up. They've done a great job all game, but it's not been without opportunities from Radiance.
Absolutely.
For Radiance to have the option to win this game, this break is critical. So I'm putting out my strongest defensive players if I am Radiance's coach here.
Yeah, I'm going to agree and say this is the most important point of the game for Radiance.
Yeah, absolutely.
They need to put their strongest defensive point out there. The Gridlock are going into the wind, I believe, and that no one has scored this direction of the field very often, and in particular, if they're able to get a turn here, we're right back at even game.
Right, exactly.
And they have to have that, or else the Gridlock is going to go up again by 2.
Question from the fans. Which team do you think could throw a better party, Radiance or Gridlock? I don't know too many of these players personally, but I'm maybe going to give this one to Radiance due to the number of players that went to UNC in college. Surely you would have learned a thing or two there.
I agree.
Great pull from Radiance. It's exactly the position you want to put defense in to start off.
Yeah, and, Pleiades and Radiance is obviously part of that triangle area down there that is so famous for incredible ultimate.
If you're Gridlock here, I think you want to score this point, but you also want to keep the disc. You don't really want Radiance to have another chance here. If they can run out the clock when this minute and 30 seconds is up, that is it. That's game. So really all Radiance needs to do is hold on to the disc.
I expected them to bomb this down to Jenny.
DeJesus by herself, I don't hate that option. Oh, but that is exactly what you want to see with a minute left, giving Radiance another chance. Hard to holster that one, though, when you see a receiver like DeJesus available and wide open.
Just stretching deep, wide open. The disc trails off and is just uncatchable because it's not in bounds. Pressburg obviously wants that back. They're very frustrated.
So Radiance, I believe, taking a timeout here, making their game plan, picking who's going on offense. This is crucial. This is their opportunity to stay in the game.
Interestingly enough, though, I think that they're not. I don't think that they're looking to in any sort of way hold the disc. Like, I think that
no, especially
they
at this
score
point.
Or not. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a minute left, and so if the timer goes off before they score, that's it, and Gridlock will go home with the win.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There is a true buzzer beater in the PUL in the fourth quarter. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, with that in play, Pressburg really should have holstered that.
Okay, one more time, if you're enjoying the stream, please consider donating to the teams. All donations go directly to supporting player travel and training. Thank you. Sidelines are loud. Huge moment. Definitely you can feel the energy of these two teams. Big opportunity for Radiance. Not a lot of time left.
And it's a really unique situation defensively where you are also using the clock.
Wow,
or able
great strike cut from 34, finding the options. Sam Harris kind of hanging out in the deep space, wanting to avoid anything that would be a score, but Radiance having no problem working it up.
Under 30 seconds. And the clock is going to become an issue here.
Up. Would have loved to seen Liv Player get in there on that floaty toss.
They don't have time to really work it around here. There's only 20 seconds left. And there it is. That's the turn. And that turn is a result of having to worry about the clock.
Yeah.
This one's over.
Really no reason to try anything when you have the time. to just let the clock run out.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm saying the turn there was a result of the fact that they were pressing.
And
Good job.
That is it.
And Pressburg obviously is the happiest person on the field. You can see it. You can see them just in elation that their decision did not come back and hurt the gridlock whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just a fantastic game. I feel very honored for being able to be a part of it and be able to watch it.
Great showing from both teams. If you're Radiance, I'm not feeling too bad about this loss. Going down one with 2 wins under your belt and playing this competitively against the champion team from last year. I think if I am the Radiance leadership, I feel pretty good about how this game turned out.
Absolutely. And on the road, that should not be, with travel, that should not be underestimated. But, yeah, if I'm the Radiance, I'm leaving knowing that I can go toe-to-toe with the best in the league.
Absolutely. Gridlock would like to take this moment to recognize all our local team sponsors and partners. Well by Messer, Match Fit Performance, Baker Street Health, Voce Behind the Lens, Elmhurst Physical Therapy, Educated Financial Planning, Defend Trans Rights, Mojo, and Salt Athletic. Thank you for supporting New York Gridlock Ultimate, and thank you to our fans for watching. Great game overall from both teams. Glad to see them out here. Great home opener showing from Gridlock. Great showing what they can do without some of their strongest players, Cardenas and Cartagena. Other players showing what they can do. Great fight.
Absolutely. Who would you say was the player of the game? I think we both know.
I think it's clear. I think we all can say Ella Young's player of the game, number 10 for Gridlock.
Absolutely. She played just lights out defensively with that run-through D that ended up making all the difference in the game. And she just was critically the fastest player on the field, it appeared, and the Gridlock knew how to get it to her in open space.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.